Hi guys, it's Brian, and today I want to give you guys my review for The Walking Dead World Beyond, Season 1, Episode 6, titled Shadow Puppets. So this was an okay episode, actually. It wasn't terrible. I give it an 8 out of 10. So the episode starts out with Iris saying that, once upon a time, there was a world where, we had things like, people went to jobs, there were grocery stores, there were pets and families, and we clearly see that it starts changing, like the puppet things start becoming zombies and, they're clawing. And it is really creepy. I mean, yeah, honestly, it's pretty creepy. And then we see traffic and then it changes, to walkers. So yeah, this was, pretty creepy of an intro. Well, I guess like a, opening scene. And then we get the, title. And so anyways, we get the new character. His name is Percy. And we get the standoff between him and the other kids, the group, because he doesn't want to drop down his weapon, but Felix is behind him and makes him drop down his spear. So the characters can now talk, I suppose. And yeah, so anyways, Iris asks him if he's hungry, and they, after checking to make sure that he was alone, they sit down at the campfire and he starts talking to them about who he is and what happened to him. He mentions how he was with some guys named Mike and Tony, and how things got kind of bad and they left him behind, took his supplies. And we have Felix putting up some extra barriers. Not sure where he got those from, because also I don't know how much room he has, but Silas just isn't sure if they can trust him yet. He's a little bit suspicious of Percy. And Percy is telling them the story how he almost died at the hands of walkers. He thought it was walkers, at overpass, but it actually wasn't. It was just a herd of bison. He mentions that it was like, snow time. And, the other characters are kind of amazed. They're just, I guess, in a way, blown away by his story. They've never really heard or seen anything like this before. And, yeah, not sure if it's 100% true, because, the characters start to, there starts to be some holes in his, story. So, anyway, Hope brings that up, actually. Hope asked him if, like, hey, how'd you get to Florida to Wyoming in a few months? And she figures out that he has a car, which is actually very smart from Hope. And the other characters are kind of surprised by this. And, Silas asks him why he didn't just tell them. But, yeah, he's just like, listen, I had a car. How was I supposed to trust you guys? It's one of those things. And, Iris says that if they help him, maybe he can give them a ride. So they make a deal. So Elton leaves a sign for Huck that they'll be back soon, because they have to get the truck to continue their journey. So Hope is talking to Elton, and she finds out that he was named by Elton John. He talks about his mother, how she listened to records and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, after that, Percy is talking to Iris and Silas, and Percy mentions how he doesn't really understand why they would leave the campus, because it sounds like amazing, hot showers and safety. Why would you give that up? But Iris talks about how it's been a month. We find out it's been a month since the first episode, which is pretty interesting. Not sure why their hair is still okay or hasn't grown much. I mean, Felix's has, but whatever. And Silas talks about how he just still doesn't trust Percy, and Felix is just playing it by ear. So anyway, the characters make it to a town, and suddenly Felix sees a truck. They all take cover and hide from it. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy. A working truck. So the characters are spotting it. They're keeping their distance, and Percy says that they should just make a run for it. They should just grab the truck and go. He can hotwire it, but Silas says they shouldn't even be doing this. The characters need to figure out and make a decision. And so Percy and Felix look inside, and they see a dead guy who is apparently Tony. And so apparently, I guess, like, Mike killed him. So yeah, things like that. So the other characters follow, and Felix says that this is a bad idea, that it's getting dangerous, they should just go. But Percy really wants to get his stuff back, and Iris tries to say that they need to do this, they need to help him, they promise. Felix orders the kids to stay here with their stuff, and he says that he's going to go with Percy and get the truck back, to which they agree. And I don't know, for some reason, we get a jump scare, and yeah, so Felix is in the store with Percy, and they decide to split up and look for Mike. So meanwhile, Silas is literally 5 minutes later. Iris is like, I can't wait any longer, I have to go. And this is the part of the episode that kind of annoyed me with Iris. She's literally like, listen, I have to go. And Silas Lily doesn't even try to stop her. I don't understand what's happening with them, honestly. So, meanwhile, Hope and Elton are standing guard, and I don't know how they don't see, Iris, but she sneaks inside. By the way, like her weapon, the spear thing, it must be so impractical in close quarters. Like I'm just saying, that's something I noticed. It's very long distance, but she comes across Percy, and they decide to go upstairs. Meanwhile, back with Hope and Elton, Elton is talking about how he met Hope's father, Leo, and Hope just wants to focus on the task at hand. And meanwhile, Felix he comes across a walker, but it's actually a mirror, and then he actually gets attacked by the walker, and he's able to kill it. Also, does this walker look weird to anyone else? I don't know. It looked kind of weird-ish. I don't know. It was kind of weird, like its eyes, or maybe just the way its skin was. It kind of looked like a ghoul or something, like from Fallout or something. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because yeah, I don't know if we've ever seen a walker like this. So, anyways. Iris and Percy notice a fresh cigarette, which kind of confuses me. But anyway, we'll get back to that. So meanwhile, they find the keys, but Percy wants to go back for stuff, and Iris hears a gunshot, and she decides to go back for Percy. And Silas, he hears the gunshot, and it's starting to rain, and we see Tony is coming back, and he's acting like a walker. I really thought he was a walker at first, but then he grabs their bags, and yeah, it goes in the truck. It's a scam. I mean, totally. It is a complete scam. They set them up. So that confuses me. Like, how did they get to this whole cigarette? How did that work? But anyway, Felix kills a walker, and, Iris catches Percy, trying to parkour himself out of there. And Iris tries to catch him or, chase him down, but doesn't do a very good job as far as that. And she falls in a dumpster. Meanwhile, Hope is chasing the truck, but she isn't fast enough. Unfortunately, Percy seems to get away, and Iris is stuck in the dumpster. And, because of that, she notices that there's a walker in there, and there's another one she notices, and the characters are trying to break her out. They're trying to get through the fence and get to her. But Silas notices that more walkers are coming, so they're a bit in trouble, and the walkers attack Iris, so she is in trouble. But they manage to open it through, and Felix kills a walker. But there's still another walker on Iris, and we see it killed by Percy. So yeah, apparently this was weird. How did they get back? Anyway, so the guy, Tony, he's alive. He tells them to get in. So they came back for them, which was interesting. So yeah, the characters are running. And man, we get some pretty interesting gore in this scene. I mean, just, man, this Humvee just, kills them. I mean, just crazy. Yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy. So yeah, the characters escape. They have their stuff, and yeah. So meanwhile, later, Tony is talking about how the truck can't really get them anywhere at the moment. It might take some time to fix because of the damage and stuff. But yeah, so they agreed to give him a ride whenever it's fixed. And we have the characters. We find out some backstory on them. Like they're from Vegas and stuff, and yeah. So Iris is kind of pissed at them, and kind of rightfully so. It's going to take a while. And Percy talks about how Iris did the right thing. He says that he went back for them because she went back for him. He says that people always take the keys and leave. They leave him behind in his scams, but he says that she didn't, which is kind of weird because like he really thought he made it seem like he died. You know what I mean? Like she heard a gunshot. Also, how did he do that? How did they do the gunshot effect? Like I have questions about this episode. So meanwhile, Hope is talking to Elton again, and Hope still has that bandage on her hand. Hasn't it been weeks? I don't know. It's a small nitpick. And she asks to see the book, and Elton gives it to her, and she looks and sees the picture of Elton's mom. And yeah, Hope is starting to realize that she is definitely the one that killed Elton's mother. Meanwhile, Tony is talking to Felix about the CRM emblem on his jacket, and he mentions how he's seen that before, and he rips a sticker off of the truck, and it turns out it's a CRM truck, and he mentions how he's seen the helicopters, the people wearing black suits, and how they have, refined fuel and stuff, and that's how they've been able to get this truck and keep it going. And he asks Felix if they come across those soldiers, if they could maybe rely on him to get them out of a bad situation, because they are dangerous. And Felix says probably, which I don't know. I really don't think it's going to work, unfortunately. I mean, who knows? But it's crazy. The CRM, who knows about them? Like, so even these guys know about them? So that's what I'm wondering. It's pretty crazy. At nighttime, the characters are sitting down for something called the entertainment, and Silas still doesn't really trust Percy after trying to rob him and all that. And I have a feeling he's going to beat up Percy or something. So anyway, the characters are sitting down, and he says, so we get this like play end of the world thing, and we get this weird puppet things. I'm not sure how they made them. Like, this is kind of crazy. So we have like people walking around, pets, parents and children, and then we get it becomes super creepy. The people become walkers, zombies. They start acting like them, and they start running away. I mean, it's just creepy. I mean, I'm surprised none of the characters stood up and walked away. Like, this is just creepy. Even the baby stroller, I mean, it's just creepy. The hands, everything. I mean, my goodness. I mean, even the faces. I mean, just, I don't know about you guys, but this was creepy. The beginning was cringy, but now it's creepy. But I did like how in the traffic changed to the walkers, and we just see massive amount of walkers, like so many walkers. This was really creepy. I'm not sure how they made them, but honestly, this was not bad. I will admit, it was pretty good. So anyways, the episode ends. They have a flower thing growing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And Hope and Iris hold hands. They kind of liked it, I guess. And the episode ends. So yeah, what I think about this episode, well, it had some problems, I will say that, but we get new characters. So yeah, it wasn't bad. So we get a post-credit scene with the CRM, and actually another one, honestly, with the Dr. Lila lady, and she opens up Leo's journal, and we see the card that Hope and Iris made for their dad, and yeah, so it doesn't look good for the dad, and she gets a call, and it's from Elizabeth, and it's crazy. Lila says that don't worry, they won't be a problem when they show up, and that Leo and his security team won't be an issue either, and it will still go as planned. So it's crazy. So the CRM apparently know that the kids escaped the campus colony. Like, what is going on? Like, where is Leo? Did they turn them into walkers? I have so many questions. So yeah, we zoom out and we see that there's no walkers anywhere in sight, but we hear a walker growling. And after that, the post-credit scene ends. So yeah, this episode was not too bad. It was just as good as last week's. So, the CRM scene could have been better, but we get some new characters in this episode. And yeah, so that was it for World Beyond, guys. Please let me know what you thought of it down below. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye.